G'day guys, welcome to the Mailbag preview show for Flemington. It's good, how we doing?
Great, mate. Yeah.
And we've got Joshy back on board. Oh, you got the fist bump. Okay, it's revolving. You're a little bit too cool for school.
Yeah, so probably need I need to get a secret handshake. Ooh. I'll work on it for the next show.
I can see you and Dicko doing one, definitely.
Yeah.
So watching the NBA guys, you'll learn a bit or two.
Yeah.
How's the punting been for you guys this week?
I'll go first. I found a couple of winners early last Saturday, and then sort of gave most of it back, which was fantastic. But I've been too busy with my real work to get my teeth, stuck in any other meetings. But I'm really keen to bet Flemington and Eagle Farm this week, so hopefully I can put a big win on the board.
Joshy?
Yeah, some good racing coming up. Probably sticking to other states last weekend. Victorian racing sort of slowing down until the spring now. But yeah, excited to sort of watch some of the other racing in other states this weekend, and not a bad Flemington card after sort of getting into it, but tricky to find anything with confidence.
I think it's a much better card than last week. It was very tough to even pick some standouts, and I had a terrible day, not going to lie. It wasn't great at Flemington, so I'm hoping to redeem myself this week.
Yeah, there's a few shorties there that sort of map poorly that were either going to be held up or sort of get out at the right time, and they eventually did. So there would have been a couple of punters or some sore bookies, I would have thought, with horses like Big Night Out and Fidelia and those sort of things. So you could easily oppose them, but you could easily find them. So just depend which way you went with them.
I imagine Walsh had a terrible week with Labour also losing. So it's been wearing the red and everything all month, but. I think he may be pretty okay, Mr. Walsh. So we're at Flemington, rails out 3 from the true. There's not really much rain, just a little bit of light, millimetre or two. So
good 3.
Good 4 track, I'd say.
Okay.
Verging on good 3.
Yeah.
Depending what happens on the morning, there's a little bit of showers around, but should play fair.
Down the 3.
Yeah, down the straight, down the middle. You have to say that's kind of middle to outside was where they were going last time. It's been like that for the past 6 to 8 meetings.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't expect them to do much different.
Yeah, agree with that sort of track play.
So let's get straight into it. 1200 metres, race 1. Odds first.
Alright, so at the top of the market we have 7 Brocate at the Hayes Avenue Stable, which is $3.90, $4 Archery Butts. St Edward's Crown $6.50, Miami Bound $6.50, Night Passage $5.50, on with the rest.
Yeah, I've got the map here. So St Edward's Crown's probably likely to push forward.
It was scratched from last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the issue there is. If anyone has any intel there, I'll be interested. But we've got a heap of first starters here. So I've sort of got this one down as a Nick Noonan sheet race off the trials and off the jump out. So it's not really a race that we've got much sort of indication on speed. But St Edward's Crown, Namimo and Sebricate are probably probably settle forward of fame. But I haven't seen enough of the trials to be brutally honest. But I've just seen the market push for Archery Butts, and that's been about $6 into 4. But until I get any Noonan sheets, I won't be betting.
Yeah, I'd just say you could just blindly bet every James Cummings 2-year-old at $6 realistically, and you'd be looking okay, I would imagine, based on their strike rate with 2-year-olds this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably not a surprise that they're debuting another one and it's been backed. Joshy, what do you like?
Yeah, it's same as Scoot here. You just got to probably go off the trial sheets. It will be interesting to see how Night Passage went in work, because we can't forget that McAvoy has also a great record with 2-year-olds first time out. The one that's seen some track, St Edward's Crown, who had nice figures first time out at Seymour. Probably just a yard play for me, as I'll be on track there to see how they look and see what is on top from the trials.
McAvoy has produced a couple of 2-year-olds up the straight first start.
Yeah,
it's a big pattern if he's in recent time.
Yep,
Jackson, there's probably 3 or 4 in the last couple of years that have come out and just exploded, but at much bigger odds than this old one.
Yeah, and he was known as a 2-year-old sort of go-to for quite some time. Right?
Yeah. I'd just add in, I think Namimo's a really interesting horse. It's opened 380 out to $5, first up against Brooklyn Hustle, who's obviously gone on and become a very good horse. Now, hasn't really done much since, and it started $6 last start and at Benalla Maiden, but were they wrong in the first prep that it was a good horse? I'm probably considering that's a yes, but it's probably the one horse I've got the most interest in the race that...
Of the race?
Yeah, of the raced ones. Outside of that, I think it is probably a first starter's race. So
I thought St Edward's Crown, looking at its action, that it wants a good track, so I think there'll be a big improvement in that horse coming off the slow track and the testing surface at Seymour there.
That's a very good thing that you just pointed out there. Like, there are types like Fidelia who I think are really well suited to a good surface, and we saw that last week when it just storm home and just consistently just fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, race 2?
Into race 2. Fidelia goes to the backup. $2.10 of the market. Adversary $9. Orsine $9.50. Livy Lake 13s. Musselbrook 12. Asgard Massif 13. Longer the rest.
Speed here looks pretty moderate. Asgard Massif will push forward from barrier 1. Yulong Patrol will push forward from out wide, and Duke of Magnus and Nudge Bar are the other ones that can go forward. The favourite Fidelia will probably be buried, but probably will probably be one off the fence anyway. So, or it really, if Jai McNeil has a brain fade, he might even take it back to the fence. And if that was the case at even money, I'd be keen to lay it. Staying at the 1600 metres. It is the obvious. I thought the improvers were Tower Road, the Kiwi. I'm Done Dreaming was scratched, but $34 looks a pretty big price. Liculate. Craig Newart's been riding a lot better, but that was sort of the other horse that sort of had each way claims. But outside that, there's just a few dishonest horses, or some horses that don't really hit the same sort of rating. And these are trap races that I sort of stay out of, so it's a no-bet race for me.
Yeah, interesting with her on the backup, 58 kilos, filly. I sort of might be laying it. Comes out of a fast run race last week.
Flat?
So it might be it could have just lobbed over the top. It worked home pretty well on the puntingform.com.au data. But look, this mob is pretty weak. The one that I'd be looking at might be Orsine after its sort of last run, had 4 miles behind. It beat Nordic Symphony, who's gone over to Adelaide and ran well. Big Night Out, it's ran 5th behind, who it's gone on and won since. So that could be the one for me if I think Fidelia might be susceptible to a loss today.
In terms of Fidelia, I'm also on the lay side rather than the back side. That being said, when's the last time this stable's backed up a horse 7 days? So it's a strange prep for this horse. It stands out as a bit shocking for me because they never back up a horse 7 days over this type of distance. It's going to get back. Orsine's going to get back. Ligulate's most likely going to sit midfield and get back. I'm pretty keen here on Assad Massif. It'll be on speed. Teo goes on board, gets a 3 kilogram claim, goes down to 51 kilos. Unlike last start, a lot of these horses coming out of a fastly run race, there is no tempo here that I'm mapping.
Could be a loose leader. Yep.
It's going to just get an absolute dream run out front. I'm getting $13, $3.50. It's a progressive horse that ran its best PB last start. I think it can further improve on that, but I also think it doesn't have to improve on what it did if all the favourites are sitting out the back like I'm mapping, and it's just had a dream run out the front. As long as Teo gets going at the 600 and doesn't hold it till the 400, which a lot of jockeys can do, I think he's on the winner.
Yep.
A lot of confidence there.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird that how often do they back up a 3-year-old filly, especially in the second prep? It just seems a bit of a weird.
It's rock bottom odds. Like Evans is about the mark, and
she's a good horse.
Yeah.
Would you say she'll be a group winner in the future? I would say so as well. So it's hard to be saying I'm going to be definitely laying it, but there's a lot of patterns against, I think, where it sits in runnings against, and could be flat.
It's annoying that this
stabilising
race.
back them up.
It's annoying that the race isn't sort of later in the day to see a track pattern or anything.
Definitely, yeah.
Because then you could be looking into laying it, especially if it's tough to make ground, which usually it's not at Flemington. It's always even. So, but be interesting to see how it goes. If it starts evens, I'm sure there's going to be some scratchings in that race. Start the low evens with all those key chances in the market. I'd be probably continuing to lay it at $2 just for the sake of it going around.
Yeah, I'd note if there were 4 to 5 scratchings, I'd be less likely to lay it only because of the less chance of it getting blocked for a run. Race 3 over 1100 metres, BM78 down the straight, so first straight race of the day.
Last time there was a 20 runner straight race at Flemington. I think it was the Newmarket Handicap, and now we've gone back to a benchmark in 78. So to head the market, we've got For the Flute $6, Urac $6, Parsifal $6.50, Satori $8, Celtic Blast $8.50, Honey Esprit $14. Along with the rest. Phil the Flute's the obvious one that goes forward with lots of vigour. Celtic Blast is thereabouts, written choice. Honey Esprit, like to think so, and Satori. Be another straight race here. I had it as a really wide open race actually. I thought Urac was really good in its trial on the 1st of April, and it's now the second last weekend in May. So it's definitely going to be rock hard fit off a 166-day break. I think that's a really good pointer. Oliver onto Honey Esprit was an interesting move. A horse that can sort of bob up as well. I thought Satori was a really good run down at Warrnambool. It ran into a horse called LeBorn Star, and Daniel Bowman had that, just picked out that race, and I think it was dropping from a benchmark 90 to then pick off that lower class race and beat that horse Satori. And I think it'll take a lot of fitness improvement from that, and it's a horse with a little bit of upside. But I just think Daniel Bowman's a really good setup trainer, so that probably got that horse unstuck last time. I thought Parsifal's been racing well in Adelaide recently. It could sort of show up. I thought Deep Euphoria was good behind Celtic Blast at odds. The ex-Kiwi, they might be just training it over a shorter distance at the moment. I'm telling you, goes okay at odds. And then you can make a case for even more runners. So I think it's definitely a race that you need to back 1 or 2 or 3 chances and sort of dutch it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's I think I'm on exactly the same chances as you, Scoot, there on it. I thought Parsifal has been rock solid lately. Feel the Flute was one that I thought will get out the front, and with these massive 20 runner fields, I sort of like to back the ones that are leading in front and don't need much luck to weave through the pack in a sprint, especially over 1100. And Feel the Flute was running pretty well last prep. Urac is interesting that there was the trial on it. That was a horse that I really liked when it won at Caulfield, I think about a year and a half ago now. I thought that had plenty of potential and scope. And then that was about it for me, I think. But yeah, you can make cases for so many in this race. Highland Beat always runs a good race down the straight, I think, as well. Always up there on speed, big price. Drew, anything?
I'm pretty keen. My value of the day is I'm telling ya. It's coming out of the William Thomas race at Caulfield. It sat 4 lengths last at about, I want to say, the 700. So it gave William Thomas 4 lengths. It's been beaten under a length on the day. The data out of that race has been hot. I can see the tempo out front's going to be extremely hot here with several leading chances in a big field. Yes, it'll need luck, but its last win was at course and distance. So it's got the tick of course and distance at Flemington down the straight. It's in the right grade. I think it's got form behind really good types in William Thomas. Trilly, I'm pretty sure, was in a similar William Thomas form line as well yesterday, which was painful, but I can't see why it went up 31s. It's still 26s available. 21s I want to be fair about the price, to be honest, because there's only one that's doing 26s, and it's a bet down to probably about $12 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had it as a good roughie. Yeah.
I saw that. Good form on Thomas.
Race 4.
1600 metres open handicap.
Race 4. The market is another $1. Leads the market $3.80. Odeon $4.60. Guizo $5.50. Strategic Demand $8. Tantat Trusting $8.50. Double figures the rest.
So Dark Eyes will push up from barrier 2, Odeon's a natural leader as well, and then Tantat Trusting will try and come over from the widest alley. It's interesting, it's a pretty cramped market here and there's no rush to really bet. There's a lot of percentage on the board, and I think the favourites come up another $1. I've sort of mentioned before that Craig Newt I think is riding better, but I still don't think you can trust him or back him with much conviction, or I certainly can't at certain price levels. But I think he rode one and a second, and last Saturday, and he's been riding okay at Launceston, so he might have found his mojo a little bit.
He's riding at 24% the past 50 rides.
Yeah, so he's better.
He's
but
finding winners.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
on the right horses, but he's finding winners.
Yeah, a lot of that's at Launceston. And
Yeah.
but I have noticed he's brought sort of a little bit of that form to town, and Waller keeps sticking with him, and I guess he's no deal. But I thought the big danger of the favourite was Odeon, off the bit of a freshen. I think the stable must think now that he's just an out-and-out miler and just will target, events around sort of 1600. He was good in the Bill start against Magic Console, the Pushka horse, and Lloyd's horse. I think split them there or something like that. And every time that he's sort of around 1700 metres, he runs a really good race. I think he can push forward and be super hard to beat off a little freshen. I thought Strategic Demand probably maps awkwardly back on the fence, but it wasn't hopeless. I thought Leopari's going well, and even Lamborghini. He probably might find a few of these too sharp, especially those up front, but probably another horse that you couldn't totally dismiss. So it's another tricky race, but I think the class horse is Odeon, and that's probably who I'd be betting if I had to bet in the race.
Joshy?
Yeah, I think I'm with Odeon there as well. I think it gets blinkers on first time, rolls forward, Willow's on it. It's had that freshen, it's won a trial, just all sort of ticking boxes for me. I think the pace won't be like crazy and might be hard to catch up front. One for me that I looked out of this last run, I think we came to the same race, another $1, and Strategic Demand. Thought Strategic Demand finished really well. At the price, I'll be backing it. Currently $8 chance. And also one that I don't want to lose on is this Instant Earner, which is the US horse that clearly Drew, the import king, likes as well. Finally gets up to the mile. I think it ran some group races in the.
It should have won a Group 1 over a mile in US. Should have won it.
So we might have to snip those odds just before they disappear.
You're getting what, 21s? Is that to 26s now?
Yeah, it's 21s currently.
Okay.
It's just, I think it just had, I kept on it after last run as well. I thought it was, so I only got out.
Yeah, $21 across a few boards.
Yeah, it was no chance to win from the speed that they ran last start over that distance.
Yeah.
Fastnet Tempest has come out of that race and won since, but it just needs speed on. I'm kind of against you on the speed there. I reckon Odeon's, when I went back over its profile, whenever it's led, it's generally pushed faster than class benchmark, about anywhere from 2 to 6 lengths.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be enough speed on for those that can position well, midfield or better, and need the speed on. I think it's Derma's the play for me there. I can't get off the ship. It is a horse that should have won a Group 1 over in USA at 1600 metres. It's Group 3.
Was that on dirt?
No, it was on turf.
Turf?
Yeah. Everything that I've seen, it just keeps on keeping on to the line, and the more speed that's on is better for it. So scratchings would certainly dampen its chances here, because I definitely need speed on.
Off its last start, my notes was the outside draw would benefit it significantly.
100%. It is definitely the type that keeps going outside of horses.
It just sort of looked like it lacked ping for mine, and my notes were next preparation. So I just don't think it's sort of in as good a form, and I'd have to lean to the stablemate. I know you're getting a $3.80 or $4 for another $1, but I just couldn't trust myself to back Instant Earner off that last start, off my eye.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we did have decent ranks for the day.
got him here. 11th best last 400 for the meeting last start. Incidentally. So it's something that I thought was sort of a bit of merit going forward. Did come up out of a slow pace, I think, but a lot of them had some merit there.
Cool.
Race 5.
1400 metres, BM 78. I'm just going to give you a tempo prediction here. I'm saying that they'll go around benchmark to slightly faster than benchmark early on.
Race 5. Neighbourhood leads the market, $5.50. Fabric, $5.50. Vanuatu, $5.50. So leading the market. Shamal Lass, $6.50. Aristocratic Miss, $8. Voila, $15. Longer the rest.
Irresistible Girl will push forward. Snits in the city too from out wide. Some speed inside will be Shark in the water. Neighbourhood should probably kick up from an inside draw. And others with spaces. Voila, out wide. Tatiara, Peerless if it gets a start. So Irresistible Girl's the clear leader there. It's a monster field. This there's a horse I'm keen on. Was the Enver Jusovic train galloper.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah, no. EJ has a really good trainer, and he seems to have pretty good stock at the moment. I was sort of taken by its last start performance at Flemington when I think it jumped from its maiden to the benchmark 70 grade or sort of thereabouts last start. I think it's really hard for horses to benchmark 78. It's really hard for horses to do that. I think the inside draw's positive. If this horse can show a little bit of speed, so I can see it sitting in, I guess, the first 3 pairs. Another horse that I think is a danger, but maps poorly, is Vanuatu. I've followed her for most of her career, and I think maybe the pennies just started to drop for her, but she's from jumping out of barrier 1, so probably needs to find the back of Neighbourhood to take her into the race. Shamal Lass looks the other smart runner. Had the form around Harbour Views at Warrnambool, and then found a really wet track at Donald. So that may have made her win look a little bit better than what it was. And I'm always a little bit of a query on backing horses sort of wet back to dry. So it's probably found 2 tracks or 1 track that was a bit sticky at Warrnambool, and then it was probably bottomless at Donald there, and then now comes back onto the rock hard sort of Flemington. So I think Neighbourhood's the one that I think has the most sort of upside there.
100% on the same. I was big on it last start, which ran
Behind Fidelia.
Yeah, Fidelia. So it's got the Fidelia form lines. Yeah. She's running around at $2 and came second to Fidelia.
Yeah.
Second, yeah.
You guys are saying it's a group horse, so this horse is running in a 78, and it's like Phillies. This is Phillies grade as well. So and that's running in open sex races. So I think that's the horse to be on. Shamal Lass, I had a big rap on that when it ran into Harbour Views, and it went off in the betting, and I backed it at 9 a.m. and it's rendered a good horse in Harbour Views. It's now going to be a group horse. So you would have followed up at Donald, did you?
I'm not one for the short.
I did.
I had
so,
to.
Yeah.
I looked at my notes from the yard from the bull, and I'm like, damn, this thing paraded really well. And when something, I tell you, the ones that stood out at the bull, they've gone on one since.
Yeah.
And I was looking at them like, on the form, nothing else can win this race. It's just absolutely bolted.
It was my biggest bet of the day. I found it out at Donald, and
I can't say I outloaded.
Well, I was nervous because of the wet track, but I think its breeding or whatever it was enough to push me over the line.
Bull was
Artie
bad
Schiller.
enough.
Yeah, well, I think Artie Schiller's go okay in it. So
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this race it's super. There's some really good horses in this race, especially Vanuatu, who I don't have like a massive rap on. But Fabric as well was untested last start, like just went through the line easy. Like it's got plenty more to come. And then even horses like Sizzle Mees in this race was probably going to be too sharp for it. But I want to see how she runs, sort of thing. She's going to sit up on speed. If she gets handy with some cover up on speed, she might run a good race at odds. Interesting that Persuader went from. What's going on here? Who's the trainer for it? Not Persuader. I thought it went to Kent. this horse? It's saying Mick Price and Kent.
Yeah, so Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. Yeah.
So is this their first
Partnership. Oh,
Yeah,
I noticed
that's
that in
good.
a couple of runners,
Is
but
there a few?
I think it was announced in March, but whether it's just gone through officially on all the changes,
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. But
Okay.
it's probably the case because
They've had a few together.
yeah.
So yeah, interesting. I thought that was a change of trainer, but that's just the partnership coming through. Anyway, the one is neighbourhood for me. I can't action my last again, like getting back that far.
Yes.
Just gonna have to weave through.
Well, it could just win, but you're taking on the price.
That's what
weren't
we're
you?
taking on the price.
I was expecting to see double figures for it and didn't, so I couldn't be anywhere near it. Vanuatu, I think, needs to improve again. I like it as a horse. Voilaire, I was looking at back yesterday, but I'm not sure, even though it came off a really good 3-wide run last start, I'm not sure I could back it here. I'm like you guys, I've just kind of found neighbourhood. My one problem was that it kind of raced the full 500 metres of Flemington Straight last start with its head on the side. And the one thing I'm thinking it's going to happen is Freddie Kersley off, Michael D back on, who rode it to win at Cranbourne. That may find it an extra length or two, because to my eye, I didn't find the second place behind Fidelia visually impressive. I didn't find anything about it impressive because of the way that the horse was, I think, handled. So I'm expecting that Michael D change to be really good for it. Now, do you guys know if Michael D writes track work for EJ or not? Because that's something I'm going to have to look into.
No, I'd just be really happy. Like, no, disrespect to Fred. Fred offers is a great one for me. He's got a great manager probably, but he's not a jockey that sort of inspires me to bet much. So I think Michael D rides really well. So I'd have him on most any.
Yeah, that was my only concern, and when I saw D back on, it kind of got rid of the concern to an extent. But I'm going to have to do personally some more research before I bet to this race. So I just want to make sure he does track work so he knows the horse.
Yeah, he did. I think
We've always had the connection.
Yeah, I think he's like a go-to rider for.
Okay, good.
Isn't he?
Perfect. On to race number 6, 1800 metres, a BM84. I'm saying this is probably the most varied and unpredictable speed race of the day in terms of tempo.
Dr. Drill leads the market at $4.40. Main stage, Dusty's horse, $7.50. Admiral's Joker, $9. Golden Egg, $8.50. Sir Pippin, $10. Thundercloud, $12. On with the rest.
He did ride a winner for EJ in Pakenham and had 3 rides for EJ at Pakenham on the 16th of the 5th.
Okay.
So there you go. There's a little punningform.com.au. One click of the mouse and there you are. That's how easy the system is. So it saves time and we're all very time poor. Moshway, if it gets a start, is the speed here with He Excels from the Lambing Yard. Indiana Lily can push forward. Handsome Return out wide also, and Trav My Friend is the other speed. Dr. Drills in barrier 3 has come up favourite, so how far forward they push on that, you can probably sit 2 or 3 pairs sort of back from the lead, I'd assume. The runner that I thought was sort of ready to peak here at a pretty big price was He Excels. I thought they might try and set it for it's always a horse that I've had a lot of time for. Jamie Mott's on it. I usually have a bit of a laugh about the Lambing Yard and how fast they sort of bet early, and it's sort of it's funny when sometimes they set a horse off early, but this is a horse that hasn't gone off, but just respect any sort of market moves because they love a bet. I just think the setup here, third up to 1800 metres is perfect for it. Dr. Drill I thought was a little bit plain last start. Stealthy Lucas from the Prushka Yard as a horse that interests me. It's a really weird setup because it was 1400 first up, 1300 second up, but I looked deeper into its form and it had a really good run behind Kachata last spring in that $200,000 race at Flemington that day. And sometimes you see with Prushka, and I think he did it with Surprise Baby in the Adelaide Cup, they look like they haven't got the platform, but then they're there on game day and they come out and win. So I'd just be wary for any market move around Stealthy Lucas. And yeah, the horse that I think is ready to run a big race is He Excels. So I think it's a really tricky race, but I'll probably dutch those 2 roughies.
Yeah, I can't find anything too much with confidence here. If I had to go with something, it was I didn't mind Dark Pearl. I think it's had a bit of a freshen while he's on it. And the gate sort of gets
Barrier
back.
15?
Yeah, so it gets back anyway, so it'll be running on. Might be too sharp for it, the 1800, but it was just one of interest. I don't think you can completely sack Thundercloud as well at the price. We'll have to weave some magic from 18 to be sort of midfield, maybe. And Royal Ace, I don't know what to do with this horse, if it's going to return to its numbers of Whiz, but...
Needs wet.
Yeah, it could be a good one. It might need the wet. I thought it was pretty...
The stable direct quote when it was with Weir was, it needs a soft 6 or worse to find its best.
Yep.
So they just think it's wet.
Yep. But yeah, not much going here.
True.
I think Thundercloud's had more chances than a cheating X, and I just, there's no way I could be anywhere near it. This is... haven't had a few of those, so it's okay. This is probably my least favourite race on the card. I mean, I found Dr. Drill, Main Stage and Dark Pearl. It's not a surprise, but I'm happy just to not be putting up a tip here. It's a tough race and I'll sit it out. Race number 7, we are looking at a 1200 metre handicap back down the straight.
I can do this. Hornet 330, Order of Command $5, Manolo Blahnik $9, $10 Bandit per Milwaukee, $11, Holbein $12, $14 Belsonic, Divine Quality $17, 21 the rest, headed up by Creativity. The speed in the race, it's Holbein, Milwaukee, Serious Suspect, Explicity and Creativity. And you've got all the horses in behind them, the Kid Rocks, Haunted, Bandipore, other chances in the market. Manolo Blahnik will settle back, as will Order of Command further on the inside. I just think I think the market's got the right favourite here in Haunted. I think the form out of that has measured up to win the Goodwood from his last start, and he was pretty hard in the market last time. I think he's a real honest sprinter, and he's the one clear on top. I'll concede Order of Command was really good at Caulfield. And Serious Suspect, I think he comes out of the William Thomas form as well, off a big weight drop there. And Manolo Blahnik, they think they're taking it to the Stradbroke, I think. So 850 here. I guess you'd want to be going very close to warrant a trip up to Queensland for that event.
It's not a 1200 metre horse, though, is it?
A 1400 metre or 1200 metre horse. Manolo Blahnik, he's probably more a 1400 metre horse.
14.
Yeah. But I still don't think I think it's outclassed in the Stradbroke, and I think there's going to be others a little bit sharper.
I'm sure it's upsetable for a Stradbroke. Definitely well in here, but if it likes its way, it could be more of a 1400. But I thought Bandit per. Look, I don't know what happened last week, but they're backing it up, and I trust that they're a good judge of backing up or not. So I'd be sticking to that, especially it's strong the widest barrier. So maybe if it sticks to that outside rail and flies home over the top. The Spruik horse here was Belsonic. I just wanted to raise that. I can't find that. I think it just has to improve all the lengths to win this race. Sort of out of its company. I think it got backed in the early markets a little bit. Swiss is one that I thought had big odds. If it bounces back to what it did about 3 runs ago down Flemington Straight, it sort of can be winning this. And Haunted is a quality, the class horse in this. It's just it's got the form lines. It's probably about the right price, but even if it was a bit longer, I'd probably be tempted to back it. It's going to sit up there on pace and be there and finish.
I've written an essay about this race because there's so many chances and what they're going to do. I think Haunted's probably unders at the price. I'd have it more around the $4.55 mark. That being said, I think it's probably the leading chance in the race. I think Bandipur's overs 1,000 up to 1,200. I think they just the speed's going to be decent here, so it'll be suited. And I think it just needed that extra 200 metres. Divine Quality's potentially coming back from Group 1's its 20s. Order of Command was really good last start. Its data's really good. I'd be taking on the Milwaukee and Belsonic form just on data, and to the eye I thought Milwaukee was plain, and Belsonic probably would have beat it, but they still wouldn't have run any cracking data sectionals. Creativity is the one that I think at odds. It may not run here. It's nominated at Morphettville, but it's run behind Miss Leonidas, and I Am Someone. It's decent form lines. Tonkai goes on. It's for a new stable. I'm pretty sure the Clarkson stable as well, which is a bit of a change of environment. We saw that yesterday with a change of environment horse going from Godolphin to Lambing. I just find horses with a bit of a change of environment can kind of just spruik them on a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's run the data that's needed here, and you're getting $21. So if I was playing, I'd be playing Creativity and Banpurse simply at the value, but I can see there's 6 chances.
Yep.
6 to 8 chances.
Tricky race.
Yeah, I think just with Creativity, I thought I expected it to do a little bit more last start, so I was sort of a slight knock on it. But yeah, at the price, I can sort of.
What are both your thoughts on the horse Milwaukee?
Take it on. It was plain at best, I thought.
I thought it just dropped in that last run.
It beat nothing.
I just don't think it's much of a horse.
Yeah, up against this sort of class, I think there's just others that are more consistent.
Yeah, I just thought it was almost under the odds.
Yeah.
But I can understand it, given it around favourite last race and one down the straight.
I'm super keen, the favourite here. I think it's one of the better bets for that.
Ooh, I like your confidence. I've priced it differently to you, but it doesn't mean it's not a good bet, this is a great game to play, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I can see where you're coming. It's won at Flemington.
Yeah.
It's good data. It's the right stable. It's probably going to be the right part of the track. It's going to be in a good position. It ticks all the boxes you need. So I'm most likely not playing the race.
Yeah.
So it tells you I don't have that much confidence in it.
Yeah, the Mackay form in Adelaide usually sticks up pretty well, and I think Flemington's no dramas for it as well.
Perfect.
All
On
right.
race 8.
Race 8.
2,800 metres, the Andrew Ranson Stakes. We've been waiting for this because there's been a few horses going through their preps solely aimed at this that are in it.
Yep. Well, I guess you entry into the Cup.
Melbourne Cup.
Yep.
Would any of these horses, before we get into it, any of these horses look competitive in a Melbourne Cup from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, San Remo would look a treat. That one's for you, Tiggs.
Oh, God.
But no.
Yeah.
Very plain lot. Alright, so the market is $2.60 Surprise Baby, $3 Steel Prince, She's Dashing $12, Transact $13, East Ender $14, Alfaris $15, Longer the Rest. Can we get a nap?
Yeah, Transact and the Geelong Cup winner Runaway will take up the running. San Remo for Tiggs will push forward. Sasco out wide will also kick forward, and then it's a bit of a mess. Steel Prince probably there, and Barry the Baptist will also push forward. We'll start at the favourite, Surprise Baby. It was probably a little bit unlucky last time. The horse of the Williams camp fell, and that sort of impeded it, and it was just sort of tight in there. So that's probably why Steel Prince got the nod last time. I think even luck, the results probably changed around.
Yeah.
That other horse will probably, so the favourite Surprise Baby, probably improves again, back up in trip more so than Steel Prince. Off that break, Surprise Baby from her win in the Adelaide Cup, so that's probably something to note. I thought East Ender had a solid platform and was an improver, the Tasmanian horse. I wouldn't discount it, but whether it's got the turn of foot to match it against a couple of these, I'm not sure. And then I thought the other fluker's hopes could be Azuru, who was pretty well backed in the Warrnambool Cup and didn't quite fire. And then another roughie that might hit the line okay was that Instigator. But
what are they doing with that Instigator?
It's taken forever to even get it going.
Yeah.
I backed it first 3 starts and did nothing.
Yeah.
First start it looked okay, and then it just went backwards. So I'd be concerned that they maybe had a few setbacks with it.
A couple of injuries. Yeah, so it's sort of, I think Surprise Baby is the one that the market. I had a chat to BZ last night, and he said, oh yeah, this thing was probably immoral. And then I thought, oh well, 330 is about the right price. And then he sort of reminded me that it's already been into 260, and I just thought, like, how is that possible that it goes off that quickly? So I think if you miss the price, it's going to get back out to sort of 330, maybe even 350. I think there'll be some money for a couple of other roughies, and just natural market percentage. So it's pretty poisonous odds at the moment.
Well, how can you have a $2.60 and a $2.90 chance in the race?
Well, yeah. So like Steel Prince might pop back out to $5 or something like that. Or
I think that's fair. It's a great product when it comes into what's the SP final market percentage sort of around.
Yeah, so like 100, 101 or something like that.
And then get to 130, so there's 29% there loss.
Yeah, exactly.
In just stupid odds. Obviously, if you like something as well with bigger odds, you're obviously going to get probably a better price on.
A lot of them.
Yeah, like even maybe like Instigator, I'd guess like my bet for SP, 60s or more. I'm just guessing that with what I do. But I thought Surprise Baby, I'm sort of just taking it on here as like sort of a younger horse. Just to improve again, I just thought it was a bit too much after winning the Adelaide Cup. I just don't know how much it can sort of stand. Maybe it's sort of a similar play to like Fidelia. Steel Prince I thought is the horse that I thought should be true favourite. Transact will be tough to run down if it's leading over 2,800. I think it's going to give them a real run for their money. They're going to have to sort of catch it. Be interesting to see what the stablemates do with Runaway and Transact. Who takes up the lead? There'll be some clear stable tactics there, I'm pretty sure. I'm guessing Transact will be allowed to run its sort of race and let sort of roll along and lead. EastEnder, proven horse over the trip, and I think it does have a bit of a turn of foot. Just scary what Craig Newitt does with it. Alfaris is an interesting runner. The gate scares me the most. I thought it's got a lot of potential. I liked it I was on it last start. I thought it was a great bet. But it didn't sort of impress me the way it won. It sort of stopped, didn't it? True.
It stopped, but then it kept going again and won quite. I'd say 200 metres after it was definitely further ahead. And I would simply tell you that they have solely been training it for this one race.
Yeah, it's interesting because its form lines from the UK were never past sort of 2000. I'm not sure. Does anyone have any light on Shumadale breathing? There you go, stay.
They should be fine at the 2,800 from everything I've heard from the stable. Do you want me to jump on in for mine?
Yep.
Cool. So, yeah, look, Alfaris, I'll be taking the 15s. Johnny Allen on board's a plus for me. It's been set for this. Genuine tempos in it. It's going to be there or thereabouts at the finish. I would note there is a 6.5 kilogram turnaround for Surprise Baby over Steel Prince in this race. So I am not losing on Surprise Baby no matter what. It's in at the weights. It's so well in compared to the main contender in Steel Prince, who I have to say is my lay of the day. Like, I just have to take it on. There is a blowout chance in the New Zealand runner called Mental Telepathy at 126s currently, so we may get 300s on Betfair, you never know. It's run fourth in a Group 3 Wellington Cup. It stays. Murray Baker Yard is a good platform. Does it win 1 in 100 times? Yeah, it does. So I've got to have it on my side. It's not the worst chance I've ever seen, I'll put it that way. So I'd once again say I think Steel Prince for me, it's a good horse. It had the weird residual. It's never missed second in its past, first or second in its past 10 runs, so I wouldn't be place laying it, but at the price, I'm currently happy to take it on. I would be shocked if it starts.
Does it already have some sort of exemption for the cup, the Caulfield Cup?
It wouldn't, It didn't win Mornington, and it won't be high enough rated yet.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it starts under $4 on Betfair. So, as they say, the lodge price on the Wednesday lays, I'll be happy to lodge at the $3, $3.20.
All right, final race number 9. We have Anjana leading the market at $5.50. Not enough effort, $7.50. Mumbles $7.50. Acadian $9. Tequila Time $12. Poised to strike 11 along with the rest.
There could be a bit of speed in this. Not enough effort will push it up from inside draw. Also, Des Moines, Thunderbolt 2 from out wider and nearest the pins, and there's a wall of horses in behind them. Not enough effort. It's an interesting horse. It's gone from like Sale, Sandown twice, and it's in the market there at $750. But then I sort of stack it its form and what it's done career to date against a horse like Anjana, who I think is just an out-and-out short course horse, and its last few starts have sort of proven that. It drops back from Group 1 level. It wasn't away cleanly last time, so I think you can forgive that. I think 550 is probably fair odds. I like Poised to Strike with the claim, and then I've noticed a big market move for a horse called Mumbles from the Bowman camp. So I sort of highlighted that Bowman was a bit of a setup trainer, so I'd be wary with a horse like that. But I think Anjana's a pretty good way to bet.
Yeah, Mumbles worked home really well in that last race, which was behind
Poised to Strike.
Poised to Strike.
I best valued that horse 2
eighth
runs
best,
back.
last 600, 8th best, last 400, and 6th best, last 200 of the meeting. There's some interesting horses here, but I think the class on it is Anjana. Will it sort of, I don't know where it's going to sit. I don't want to be too far back in these sort of sprints down the straight, but I think it can sort of hug the rail, the smart ride from Lockie. The apprentices can get lost, I think. I feel like sometimes on these things that instead of midfield to back with a big field. But happy to back it if it's going to, especially if it's going to SP 550 or more. One that I thought had a pretty promising 2-year-old campaign. He's coming off a soft track in Morphettville, was Tequila Time. So interesting to see if he bounces back to his sort of 2-year-old form. And sort of, you know, there's a lot of chances in here. Acadian, I sort of can't get that short. Think it'll, can't remember the notes I had on it, but yeah, I'm definitely taking that on. And John, top one for me.
Interesting. I didn't mind Acadian at a bit of value there, so differing of opinions.
I just thought it was fading sort of last start.
Yeah, I thought you're going to get about 10s. I thought it was about, you know, I had it rated, I think, I don't have it in front of me, about $6.50, $7. So I'm slight different on there. But I think there's just enough tempo here that I think Anjana's just get the perfect run. It's dropping back from a Group 1. As you said, it'll slow away. I think it, you know, just had the right run. It's run 6 in a Group 1. It's now back to this 3-year-old handicap down the straight where it's suited. It's just an absolute standard in the card. I can't see it missing a place. I'm very keen to best bet at $5.50, $2.40 the place. Very, very, very keen. Main chances to beat it: Grandview Avenue, Richage, Poised to Strike, and Academe.
Do you think? I think Richage might want the pack and a bit of a lie down.
Well, we'll see that.
It's been out for a long time.
We'll see that from the yard. You and me on Saturday. I'll be there.
Yep.
Are you suiting up, or we GAing it?
No, we'll be definitely members in the P&O cruise ship.
Okay. Cool.
That's not a sponsorship plug for P&O, so we should just say the cruise ship. So.
Well, we're happy to go on a cruise though, P&O.
By all means.
We're very happy. Imagine a punter's cruise ship with the poker table every night. That'd just be insane.
You know,
The Betfair boat.
Yeah. Oh.
And Scott. A racing channel.
that might be the next
boat.
the next
There we
spring launch in Melbourne. We might get on a boat.
Boats and might be like Bollywood side, but might not go anywhere.
Pardon?
Might be like Bollywood side.
Just true, but they actually do a poker night on the river. So when you get knocked out, you just all go to the bar and have a chat.
Yeah, we could have all sorts of things on the boat. We've got got a couple of different ideas. Yeah.
So best bets, boys. Best bet, best value, best lay. And if you want to have 2 values, that's okay, because I'll be putting 2 values out there.
Okay, I'll go first. I think race 5 Neighbourhood and race 7 Haunted. I think they're just I think both of them are just great bets and sort of standouts in a card that's going to be really hard to sort of pick apart otherwise. The roughie of the day for me is He Excels. I think it'll just go forward in race 6 and be really hard to catch now he's fully fit. The lay of the day, I sort of agree with Drew. Steel Prince in race 8, I think it's like 3:30 at the moment. I'd just be trying to gap that runner. I think Surprise Baby if all things being equal, we'll go past it, and there might be a couple of roughies that jump out of the pack, as these guys mentioned, the imports, and the one that Drew mentioned in the OTI 2, they could run a cheeky race, I suppose. But
the imports for the race is supposed to be for Australian horses to get into the Melbourne Cup, which is quite ironic, I find.
yeah,
Gotta love it.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of a line you got to draw with that. I know they're taken on now under Australian trainers, but I feel like it should be some sort of a internal strain-only breeding, you know, to up the staying.
But
at least it's
but
indicated
all the
sort of
done
strain.
deals are New Zealand's. So even the done deals we have, they're all New Zealand bred. So you'd have to get rid of most of them. I don't think we've got a decent.
Well, we've got the Jericho for Australian horses.
I mean, are we going to count Fiorente as ours?
I think now we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, if you're counting the ones that are technically ours, we're very slim.
Australian, New Zealand things, we just count the good ones as ours and shit ones right there.
Best bet, value, lay.
Best bet, I think I'm with Scoot as well as neighbourhood, but
You follow me
I'll follow you all the time. I'm glad we align there. But so neighbourhood and Jana, maybe multi them up, maybe don't gamble responsibly. And probably the best value, I'll go with Bandit Per. Lay will be the little filly on the backup Fidelia. What was that special? That was the other thing that you suggested. Lay something else.
Fidelia,
Yeah.
Steel Prince.
No, you suggested another bet that we have to do.
That I'm backing, or
No, there was another. Don't.
okay, I'll watch
Yes,
that.
there was
Yeah.
Yep.
In terms of mine and Jana's my best bet, I'm backing it each way. I'm telling you in race number 3 and Asgard Massif are my 2 value. Insta Irma's in there as well, but you know, it'd be a bit rude to throw 3 out there.
Yeah.
I'm laying Steel Prince as well, and we're going to have the mailbag multi.
Right.
So panelists, we're combining. I think Anjana and Neighbourhood are the 2 that we're going to chuck in there.
So we have some sort of a head-to-head bet here between us, like me and you guys, between Steel Prince and Surprise Baby.
Yes. What do you want?
I don't know. We need to discuss something here because I feel like it's a level playing field. The margin's set to 0. I feel like Steel Prince will end up in front of Surprise Baby.
Yeah. I don't know. Any part of 200 if you want to.
I'm pretty keen. What do you want to?
Okay.
A dinner.
Oh, your dinner's nice.
Dinner's
nice.
good.
Yeah, all right.
I'll
Dinner.
say dinner.
Yeah, got it.
All right. That's already. Yeah.
And it's not Don Don or anything like that. But Don, if you want to get in contact with Love Catering, grouse for him.
What price is Neighbourhood?
550.
So you're getting $30 realistically for the mailbag multi of Neighbourhood
Into
Anjana.
Jana.
There
We
we
just
go.
take both legs on Betfair as well.
It's smarter than Nick's multi of the week if anyone watches the front bar. Don't buy into that sort of stuff. I know Mum sat on the couch a couple of times and said, maybe I'll put that on. I said, no, they're multing up a first goal scorer into a first goal scorer into EPL. So don't be doing that.
Yes. So
Big shout out to Jack and Emma for the new baby
congratulations.
Darcy. It's a big effort, Mum and Bub, and Dicko probably didn't do much, but he was there for the epic.
I'd joke and say, was he like putting some bets on his phone while I was waiting for it? But no, I'm sure he was quite involved.
He was standing at the stud last 9 months ago, so I guess it did his bit.
Well played, well done.
Very good. Quickly, some viewer questions, because I think we're going over time and Jack will kick my ass for the timing on this one. Rob, we have given you our multi of the weekend. James has asked about can Steel Prince beat Surprise Baby with less brutal tempo and Oleon. I think we've kind of already
Covered
answered
that.
that one. Ben's Racing Tips was asking a bit about punting form. So can you quickly tell me what Betfair has to explain the punting form data?
Yeah, so we've got a little video on the hub. Once you put punting form in the search bar, and I narrate it, and I go over an old CF4 race. I think it was when Blackheart Bart was going around, so it just sort of takes you left to right to show how the feature race reports sort of work, and I guess that's sort of just a little bit of a snippet inside punting form and how that works. But beyond that, the punting form sheets have got sectional breakdowns. They've got how jockeys and trainers are sort of striking. You can manipulate your own sort of maps, but I think it's sort of it's a bit of a labour of love, the sectionals. You get a feel for how fast, I guess, the early and late speed is, and then you sort of got to piece the puzzle by yourself, I guess, from there. But I guess it gives you a really indication. Sometimes a horse might look like it's sort of zooming home really quickly, but maybe it's going past tired horses. So I guess the benchmarks and the sectionals help eradicate or get that out of, you sort of, I call it like an eye bias. So sometimes your eyes lie until you get, a really good judge of a horse. The sectionals are a really good backup, and they just give context to way, some of the tracks are playing on certain days and how wet it really is. But the guys at Punting Form do the feature race reports, and the last 2 weeks they've been absolutely airborne. So I think last week they hit it sort of 23% ROI and went 7 out of 11 of the races that they were sort of previewing. So sometimes they Dutch, sometimes they lay, sometimes they back one winner outright. So it's a great service on the hub. But I know lots of people in the game that use Punting Form and swear by it, and I just wish I had found it earlier. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's probably the best out there, just on a web-based sort of application that you don't have to pay for, install on your computer, exorbitant amount. It's very reasonable for the average punter. I think like the benchmark view is a good one. If you just want a consolidated view, which gives you basically the last start and the PV within the last 2 years, always a good little just tool to. If you don't want to, dive into the sectionals, they've got that too. And also touching on what Scoot was saying about the sectionals is the meeting ranks on the meeting page, so you can see how fast, when I was referring to how fast they ran for the meeting, the best last 600 for the meeting and things like that. They've got all those tools in there for you. So I definitely always love to look and always review your meetings. I say and go through and look at that meeting review page of the ranked sectionals for the meeting is a key.
Yeah, I'd just add in, I like the gear changes are very easy to find straight away, and because I'm a bit time poor at the moment with Jack on, I say maternity leave, but people are saying parenting leave or whatever it is. I haven't been doing as many reviews as I need to, but what I'll find is when I can go through and go back over a horse's previous runs, you get a was held up or something like that, and then that just gives me the trigger to go rewatch its video and stuff like that as well, if I don't have enough notes already from someone, like Jack's View, who's recording pretty much every single race meeting in the Punting Form data. So it's extremely handy on what you can find out of it.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. So you'll be on track. You'll be at a pub somewhere?
No, I just sit on the couch with my laptop and try and isolate myself. I'm happy to do that.
Are you a Sky One flick in between, or what are we doing?
I'll probably not Sky One. I try not to get that. I guess now with Brisbane up and going, but I predominantly like racing.com, and then I'll just flick over for the interstates and just scurry back to Flemington. But that's my go.
Perfect. Well, we had Pete yesterday in WA, so it was pretty good to have him back on board. Rob is on board tomorrow up in Sydney, and then Jack, all things depending, may or may not be back next week, so we'll be playing that by ear. So thanks very much for watching. Please comment on YouTube in the comments below. You can tweet us at Twitter if you've got any more questions, and if you've got any more questions specifically about using Punting Form, jump into my DMs. I'm always happy to try and help and talk.
Slide in.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.